So what we want to have happen when we click this show all is we want the images to go one after another automatically. Every second the image changed to the next one. And so to do that, we're going to change the source value. We're going to go ahead and get that picture. And what we're going to do to it is change its source. But now we want to change which one it is. So we don't have a specific value that we can compute. We just want to show one, then we want to show the next one, then we want to show the next one. So to do this, we're going to use our array. And we're going to use an index. So I'm going to add one more variable that is an index, and I'm going to start it out equal to 0. So I'm going to give it an initial value. Notice that this is going to happen as the page is loading, right? All of these things are outside of that load function, so these are happening really early on. So it's important that these don't access anything in the web page. And they're not, so we'll find. So this will be created, this index, and it will start out at 0. So what we want that source to be is that value in the array, right? The cone pictures array and the index. So which one? Index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, and it will show that. So we've started a timer. We said we'll call this function every second, and that function is going to change that picture image. So let's go ahead and see how this is working. We'll refresh, we'll click it, and nothing is happening. That's because why? Because index was set to 0 and then it never changed. So every time it calls it, it's just resetting it to 0. So we need to add a change to the index, and we'll just use the plus operators and increase it each time. All right, let's try again. Click the show all, and it calls that change picture function every second. It's going through and changing that image. And it's using the index in the array to do that. And now what happened? What happened? Undefined. So what is going on? Let's go back and look at this. It starts at 0, it keeps incrementing, and it goes up until it gets past 11. It goes from 0 to 10 to get all of those values. So the index can go from 0 to 10. So what we need to do is figure out what do we do when the index gets to 10. So we can say if index is greater than or equal to however big the array is. So in JavaScript, a way to tell how big an array is to simply use the array name and do dot length, and that will tell you how long it is. So in this case, it's going to be 11, right? And if the index gets greater than or even equal to 11, it's too many, because the index goes from 0 to 10, and we don't want it to be 11. Once it hits 11, we need to change it. What do we want it to do? So let's think about what we want it to do. We want it to start back over at 0. So we'll just have it start all the way back over. So when it gets too long, all we have to do is change that index back to 0. All right, now let's see what happens. We refresh it, we say show all, and it starts changing. Every second it calls that change picture function, and that change picture function changes the source attribute, increases the index, changes the source attribute, increases the index. Did you see it happen? When it got all the way to the index 10, incremented it to 11, and said, oh, got to go back to 0, and it started back over again.